Well, I was going to start with, for those of you I haven't had the pleasure of meeting yet, I'll just sound like I'm copying Mr. Bill there. But my name's Josh, for those of you I haven't had the pleasure of meeting yet. I'm Isabel's oldest brother. I tried to think of something else.
Josh, give us a little more volume.
Hello? Hello? Is that better?
Yeah.
Better? Alright. I'm Isabel's oldest brother, the representative of the Willis brothers tonight. Isabel, you bought me these socks for Christmas a few years ago. Said that it was me and you sitting on a log. So I decided I'd wear those in appreciation. But yes, my name's Josh. I'll do my best to keep this brief, but Isabel, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, so bear with me for a couple minutes here. I'll also do my best not to tear up or cry, but I took after my mother in that regard, so no promises. You will see it before the weekend's over. I do promise you that. That being said, I figured I'd start off with a quick story of what I'm pretty sure was my first real interaction with John. It was about 2 years ago. Me and Mom and Dad went to Greenville to visit Isabel. And me and Iz were hanging out in the little Airbnb that she was living in for the summer at the time. And I find out Isabel's talking to this guy, this John Mashenko guy. And when I say talking to, I don't mean like they were talking. I mean, this was probably one of the first conversations they've ever had. They were very much getting to know each other still. And I don't remember how it came up, but somehow the topic at hand was guns. I don't remember if John was like at a shooting range or if me and Isabel. Okay, yeah, John was at a shooting range. And so while, and I apologize, I am going to be looking at my phone here. But anyways, while Isabel may not know a whole lot about guns, I knew enough to help her out there. And so, again, early on, they're getting to know each other, and they're talking about guns, or John's at the shooting range, and I'm like, all right, Isabel, this is what you're going to say. Isabel knows nothing about guns, and she responds with like this very specific, very educated, like, oh yeah, I usually prefer to carry this, but when I go to the gun range, I like to use this. And John's like, who told you to say that? Like, right off the bat, there's no way. So they go back and forth for a second, and then I'm like, all right, Isabel, send him a picture of this. And so Isabel like sends him a picture holding my handgun, and I would have paid money to see John's face, finding out that little Isabel Willis is secretly this gun nut and is just more educated than anyone she knows. But it was funny. Isabel and I were cracking up, and that was, I'm pretty sure, the first time I had a real interaction with John other than passing by around church. But as the months went by from there, it was kind of up in the air whether or not this would develop into a relationship. John, I was rooting for you all along. Turns out, she made the right choice. Here we are. But I didn't really even know you at the time, but I knew that you were the right answer for Isabel. I have to find my place here. Yeah. I felt like you were the right answer, and I knew that she would get there eventually, and she did. You got yourself a really amazing woman, and I know that you know that. I know that everyone here knows that. Isabel, you and Luke have always had a very special relationship, and believe it or not, I've been jealous of him for that at times. The two of you are closer in age. You were at more similar life stages growing up than you and I ever were. That became very evident to me when I left for college. At that point, you were in middle school still. So we just didn't cross paths in life as much as you two did. Because of that, I was not as present for a very transitional phase of your life. From middle school to graduation, that phase of going from a child to somewhat of an adult. And I was often watching from afar, but I assure you that I was watching. While I wasn't completely absent, my focus and my presence was elsewhere. But I vividly remember every time I came home just thinking, how is she so grown up? Every single time, from when you entered high school to when you started driving to she's a senior now and she's graduating, I was always impressed. And while I may have watched from afar, you are still my sister. I still love you very much, and I still know you at heart. I know that your Enneagram Type 8 is frighteningly accurate. It always has been since we were children. I think you could have taken that quiz as a 4-year-old, and it would be the same result as it is today. You have been fearless, you have been determined, and you've been independent for as long as I've known you, for your whole life. Even as children, you were Luke's little protector when he was scared of the dark at night. You have never done anything just because society says that's the way you're supposed to do it. In fact, I think you have gone out of your way to do things in the most untraditional method possible. And I mean that in the best way. That is not a bad thing whatsoever. In your 22-ish years, you will have had more life experience and world experience than most people will get in a lifetime. And that's awesome. And that's something I'm jealous of. In your education alone, by the time you graduated high school, you had gone to Westminster, Lakeside, Augusta University, a school in England, and a school in France. So you were all over the place. And that's not something that most people can say. It's just one of the many examples of your independent nature and your desire for adventure. And I admire that a lot about you. John, I've gotten to know you a little bit over the past however many months we've lived together. I think from what I've seen, your life, much like mine, has probably taken a more normal path. So I just want to encourage you and tell you to be ready, because I think very soon that normalcy will be out the window. I hope that you're prepared for a life of adventure, prepared for the unexpected, and prepared for a lot of fun, because I know that Bell's life together moving forward will not be boring, to say the least. With that, I love you guys both, very much. John, I look forward to having another brother in the family, Isabel. I look forward to seeing what the Lord has in store for the two of you, and I love you. Au revoir. And cheers.